After missing the King's Road audition, Sid Vicious finally got his chance to join the Sex Pistols. As Johnny Rotten's best mate, he was perfect, except he couldn't play the bass.
He didn't have to learn to play anything, that wasn't a problem. But to deliberately not bother was a problem.
I'd like to have fun. Any kind of fun, just fun. That's my object in life.
It was too much, really, and wrong to bring him into that band at that point and throw him into that. We weren't taking on board that he'd read all that press and, you know, and what that meant to him. We were doing to him really what Malcolm did to us.
Sid had bought the myth. Sex, drugs and rock and roll. The rock and roll part was easy, and it was a legendary groupie who supplied the sex and drugs.
Sid came into the group on a dreadful day when a girl arrived from New York.
And the girl was the infamous Nancy Spungen.
You're really the star, Sid. Nonsense, you know. And that would be Nancy to Sid. She was an untold, ferocious groupie, almost like a piranha, looking for Dick. I introduced Nancy to Sid, and I didn't, because I didn't like her. I didn't know he'd, like, go for it. And afterwards felt he'd fucked the groupie of all time, and he was ready, he was rock and roll. And so, as far as he was concerned, he was actually more cool than Joe. He'd done the deed.
Nancy soon got Sid hooked on heroin, and Malcolm acted fast to protect what he saw as his new star.
At one point, I hired a private dentist, and we sedated him for at least 3 hours. Malcolm thought she was bad for him. It's more likely they were bad for each other. I hired my road manager to kidnap Nancy and get her on a plane to New York. You can't interfere in people's private lives. If they're going to go astray, they're going to go astray. She managed to smash open the back door and scream at the nearest policeman. Sex Pistols kidnapped! I'm being kidnapped!
The Sex Pistols had a new lineup and were hunting for their next record contract. The deal was to come within weeks of being fired from EMI, from A&M, home of some of the most influential artists of the 1970s. An unofficial press conference to announce the deal was organised by Malcolm outside Buckingham Palace, which was followed by an official press conference at a smart London hotel. It was a real eye-opener for Derek Green, the man responsible for signing the group, sitting behind them while they fielded questions.
I'm not easily shocked. I've been in rock and roll a long time, but I was really caught by surprise. You know, they just threw drinks, spat, whatever at the journalists in the front, and how intimidated the world's media was by. They were literally intimidated. They didn't want to ask questions.
The Sex Pistols' time with A&M would become legendary for being one of the shortest in the history of rock and roll, and Derek Green was about to have his world turned upside down.
the signing of the pistols was clearly a very personal crusade. The firing of them was even more personal.
On the strength of the demo tape, Derek had agreed to sign the group without first meeting them. And just hours before he did, there was another surprise for him.
Malcolm then said that, of course, it's not Glenn Matlock, he's out the band. I was just flabbergasted. Well, who's coming in? He said, it's Sid Vicious. And I said, well, what did he play like? It's my first thought. You know, he's a good player. He said, well, he can't.